How's everybody doing? We have a special edition of the weekend AMA on a Thursday. Some of you college kids, weekend starts Thursday. I remember the college days. So I'm actually staying up a little bit late tonight to do some paperwork with my loan agent, who's a homie of mine. That we went to high school together. We're boys. He said, "Hey, we can knock this shit out tonight." I said, "All right." So, life is good. I'm buying a house. I don't really have a topic. Normally, I like to start with a topic related to software. But no topic today. Just some good life news. Hopefully, it motivates me. I'm buying a house. It's a beautiful house, brand new, fully warranties on everything. Right. 2830 or 2850 square feet, fully upgraded. A nice little community of about a couple hundred houses or so. It's got the community has a pool, nice sized backyard. Hopefully I'll be in about 30, 40 days, and then I'll do a house tour video for you guys. How many bricks were purchased by you guys? Not as many as you think. Let's see. Florida, I gotta watch them sinkholes. Yeah. Whew. Watch out now. Hopefully in the newer houses took the sinkholes into consideration, right? But yeah, life is good, man. I also, if you guys notice, I finally finished the last algorithm in the JavaScript and data structures algorithm section, which gave me my completed JavaScript and data structure certificate from Free Code Camp. I'm sorry, guys. It's Thursday, man. Thursday is like the day that your boy is absolutely beat down. Like, because Fridays are usually pretty cake for me. Like, it's like 3/4 of the days on Fridays are like meetings for me. So, like Thursday's the day, like I've been going hard all week, and then Friday we have like 20 minutes in the morning to get some stuff done, and then we're moving forward. So yeah, thank you, Darius, for the $2 who's going to continue. So don't worry, guys, there's still bricks to buy because your boy didn't buy the house cash. So yeah, life is good. Minus the fact I just took out 250 grand in debt, give or take a couple thousand. But yeah, what is the best way to do something in the graphic user interface? Purely JavaScript? Well, if you're talking about like the front end of a web application, you're really referring to the HTML, CSS, and then JavaScript for the logic. So I think that's what you're asking. It's not the only way, but it's the main way in web dev. Do I know anything about .NET? Very little. My work uses C# and .NET for the back end, so I will probably in the future know much more about it than I do now. But I'm looking forward to that time when I get to dive into it. But yeah, man, life is good. I was feeling really sentimental when I made that offer. I don't get too sentimental too often, but it's kind of a trip to me because it's one of those items where, hey, look at how things have turned around because of a little bit of hard work. Do I do any back end in my daily routines? No, I do front end exclusively. So I'd like to, though. I kind of miss doing full stack. I like just learning new stuff at work and outside of work. It's kind of greedy to want to learn out at work. But That's why I learn outside of work, because I enjoy it, right? Like I'm doing I'll be doing a quality assurance video uh as prep work for oil diffuser for each room. Maybe. It's nice, man. It really is. It's I was surprised with what we paid for it, and I was surprised. I don't know. Just the market down here is so crazy compared to Los Angeles, man. It's night and day. I probably would have been say I could buy like 4 houses in Florida for what I pay for a house in LA. By the way, how sick is this mug? Every time I see it, this came in the exclusive God of War crate from Loot Crate. Like, if anyone played the God of War games, they'll recognize this vase from the game. Pretty sick, right? I usually don't order crap like that, but I really like God of War. And I said, you know what, man, why not? But yeah, life is good, man. Moving forward, I've been a little burnt out. I even had to cancel some sponsored videos and courses and stuff like that. Not burnt out, just busy. So like I had someone who wanted to pay me to make some courses for him. I didn't think I could do it because I've been looking at houses and I gotta follow it. Are you going to follow Dave Ramsey's principles when it comes to home ownership? So some and some not. Did I? So my house cost $260,000, and I'll be getting $4,000 of my closing costs covered, and I'll only be putting 3% down. Now I could put somewhere between 10 and 12% and still have about $10,000 cash, so that I don't get completely screwed if something awful happens, right? So Dave would have you do a 15-year fixed loan with 20% down, sort of as a baseline. I wanted to get a house sooner than later, so sort of my game plan is to essentially do one bulk transaction to 20% in about 6 months. Also because we need a second car eventually when April starts working. So I will be refinancing down the road to 20% to drop the PMI, and then to refinance it at the same time to a 15-year fix. So that's sort of where I'm at right now as well. So I wanted to be able to have money for a car, have money in reserves, and pay for some of April's schooling as it comes up. And I didn't want to break the bank to do that. So that's where we're at with that. But so I didn't really follow Dave Ramsey's rule. But as somebody who saves 50% of his checks and investments, I think in general I'm a pretty good person. The only debt I'll have is my home loan. I have no other debt, and I don't want to take on any debt. So other than the several $100,000 I just took on, but we're gonna knock that out in no time. I'm not worried about it. I bought a the higher end of my range was 350, and I got something at 260. So I after taxes, I'll probably be somewhere between $90,000 and $100,000 take home. If you add YouTube and you add my job. So when you're getting 90 to 100,000 a year, and you have a $250,000 mortgage, you're in a pretty good spot. So I'm definitely at that. Don't spend more than, like, I think Dave Ramsey's rule, if I remember correctly, is 20% of your monthly income on rent. And so we're there, which is good. And when we refinance, we'll be there as well. So life is good, man. I got no complaints. I went from making like $12,000 a year 4 years ago to being able to pay off all my debt, save money, invest, buy a house. all that sort of stuff. How much are you looking to spend on the house? I spent $260. It's already done. I'm not looking at houses anymore. We bought one, put an offer in, it's accepted. I'm staying up late tonight to talk with my loan guy because I had 2 different loan offers, and I essentially had one here with the builder and one here with Chase. And hey, whichever one gave me the best offer. And so, you know, like anything, you should always have. It's the same thing with like looking for work, right? Like, how do you know what's going to be a better offer unless you have 2? You know what I mean? Like, say you only have one offer and you just said, this is this great offer. Let me just tell you, this is the best offer we've ever had. Okay, cool. But that's just one input. And you have a second one, then you can sort of pit them against each other. And you can get more information as well, right? It's the same thing with like negotiating. It's putting yourself in a situation where you can now have that conversation of, well, you're giving me this percent. This guy's giving me this percent. Where's the disconnect? And see who can, well, we can match it. Well, we can beat it. And that's how that happens. But when it's just one, so how many beds and baths? It's 4-bedroom, 3-bath house with a loft and 2-car garage. Nice sized backyard. A lanai, like a patio area. And then it's 2,800 square feet or so. And 2 stories. It's got like a giant loft area as well, which is really dope. So it's a sick place, man. I can't wait to show you guys. And I have an excellent video. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but the house tour video, fantastic. It's going to be good, boys. Just take my words for it. It's going to be excellent. It's going to be fantastic. Is that the one that attached mother-in-law suite? No. Someone swooped that up, dude. Unfortunately not. Someone swooped it up. I was real bummed out about that. Jonathan Overbay. Yeah, man. So if you look in the description below, I have 5 or 6 books that I recommend, and they're Amazon affiliate links as well, so you can help me out, which I need. I just took out a couple $100,000 in debt. So, some books I would recommend you start with. So if you just want to learn about the industry, John Sonmez, The Complete Software Developer's Career Guide. It's a very easy read. It's like 700 pages, but it's very easy. It's fun. That will tell you about the industry, what to expect, what to sort of understand what you're getting into and different aspects of the industry. If you're looking to how to write better, cleaner code and how to really write code like a professional, Clean Code is under there as well. And if you're looking at how to be a professional, there is the Clean Coder, which is in the description. I've read all these books, by the way, so I'm not just recommending random books I haven't read. It's an excellent, all 3 of those books are excellent books. But in terms of code itself, Clean Code's the best one there. And one book I'm currently reading, it's very dry though, and I wouldn't really recommend it to a beginner, is Code Complete. And that's sort of Microsoft's stance on writing good code. There's links in the description to all those down below. I'm also reading through Clean Architecture, but I think that's a bit beyond you if you're just getting started. So that would be what I would recommend. What is smoke to the left side? It's my essential oil diffuser. It's the secret to my success. That's what it is. Yeah. I put like lavender in here. It's nice and soothing. Just makes me enjoy coding longer. I have like a small one at my desk. I'm thinking of bringing like something like this in, but I think it might bother people too much. We'll see. Yeah, I love this thing, man. Yo, I've had this essential oil diffuser longer than some of y'all have been married. Like longer than some people's relationships have lasted. Me and this diffuser, we go places, man. So if you guys actually want to get an essential oil diffuser, if you go and click on the Amazon recommendations, I actually have one in there that I recommend. If let me see if I can throw it up in chat for you as well. But I have like my recommendations in there. Thought I had recommendations, don't I? I guess I never put recommendations in here. I can throw up my link in here. Your boy's got to chill a little bit. No, but if you're interested in, of course, I can't log into my Amazon account for some reason. Naturally, for some reason, my password doesn't work. It's worked every time, but here we go. All right, boys. I'm throwing it up in chat for you. You'll see that there's a diffuser on there. It's the same one that I have. There you go. Dylan, I'm working on being a dev, but I often get depressed and cynical about the future when I look at the political and social issues that goes on. How do I get over this? I mean, you stop looking at it. I know that sounds kind of cold-hearted and sort of like whatever, but I mean, the truth of the matter is, like, I used to watch a lot of Young Turks. I used to watch a lot of CNN. I used to watch a lot of Fox News. The majority of what I watched on YouTube were these channels that were dedicated to the news. And eventually what happened is I started burning out because it just was too stressful. It was never anything good. It was never anything productive. It was just this sort of I don't know how to explain it, but just sort of like fear mongering and sort of drama. And in all honesty, most of the stuff I have no control over. So it did me no good. Does that mean I'm not up to date on things? Not necessarily, but what I'm up to date on is me and my life. What I'm up to date on are things that I control. So, like, instead of worrying about all the awfulness going on in the world, what can I do? Well, I can, my friends and family, I can treat them right. I can try to put out some good into the world. Like, what am I passionate about? I'm passionate about software. I'm passionate about getting your shit together. How can I do that? How can I control that? How can I, for somebody like you, send a positive vibe out there and just say, you know what? I'll control the things that how I can help. It's sort of like Dave Ramsey's sort of aspect of like, I want money so that I can help others. And so my time, energy, and mental, there's a mental limit to how much you can do. And if you're spending it on things that have no impact in your life, you're spending it on things that have no impact on your life. Get your life together before you start worrying about the things around you. Like, if you can't get your shit together, how are you going to get the world together? So what I would do is stop worrying about it, remove those distractions, and just stay focused. That's what I would do. And that's what I essentially did. Yeah. And the whole like getting angry on social media, getting triggered. This is a true thing. I don't know if you guys know this, but when someone shares something political, doesn't matter if it's on the right, doesn't matter if it's on the left, I just unfollow them on Facebook. And I'm on Facebook because I have like a coding group I've on there, and I go on there and I share things, I talk with people on Messenger. But the second someone starts ranting, okay, cool. This is someone wasting their time, effort, and energy because they don't ever actually go and do anything about it. It's never a video of them at a protest. It's never a video of them going to the ballot box supporting things. No. These are videos that someone just wants to write a 30-second thing. They haven't even read the article and get enraged. So spend your time. This is just a general, spend your mental energy on things that affect your life. And when you decide that you're at the point of success where you've already reached it, you're killing it, You got your wife, your husband's taken care of, your kids are taken care of, your parents are taken care of. You've achieved your goals and dreams, and hopefully along the way you've helped some people out in the process. But now, why don't you focus on those things that are bigger than you? Because what will happen is when you handle the things in your life that are bigger than you, you can then handle those things. Handle the things in your life. You can then handle the things that are bigger than you. So that's my advice to you, man. It's rough though, because a lot of people they fall into that trap. I mean, what does it give to you, right? Like, what does it? And that's not to say that you don't care about the world or anything like that, but um, it's just one of those items where, I mean, there's a lot of things I disagree with, but I don't. It's you ever hear like that Don Quixote story where the guy's just attacking a windmill? That's sort of what you're doing when you're getting angry on social media. That's what you're doing when you just want to get triggered and like you don't have any intent to get better. So, Dylan, where do you think software development will be in 10 years? Will AI already have it in the bag to where it'll no longer need for coders? No, absolutely not. You can't, and I talked about this in another live stream, but sort of my stance on this is that AI is very rudimentary. It eventually will happen. I don't know that it'll happen in our lifetimes. I'm not an expert on this by any means, but this is my stance on it, is that you have to be able to tell a computer what you want. And in order for you to do that, that's writing code. So most people who are giving requirements to developers can't even give good requirements. It's a hard task and it's a fluid task. And so it's something that isn't going to translate well until we legitimately have actual artificial intelligence where they are sentient. It's such a complex task. What may happen is that a individual's job will go from less of writing code and more of maintaining tools that help facilitate that. So that would be something that is a much more realistic standpoint. These are things that people have been saying for like 20 years also. Like people have been worrying about AI and WordPress and all this sort of bullshit for so long. And it's just something people say because it's a cop-out as to why they never got started. Well, I'm never going to get started because AI is going to take all the jobs in 5 years. Okay. All right. Look, here's the thing. If the tech industry dies, a lot of stuff isn't going to do very well, and it's not. It's so frustrating when I get questions like this, and it's not anything for you, Jonathan. Like I know you're just getting started, you have these questions, that's fine, but a lot of it is the sky is falling. The sky is falling questions. That's what it sort of boils down to. Is that at the end of the day, it's just an excuse to not get started, and there's always going to be parts that are going to be growing, parts that are going to be going in transition. But like the people who complain about jobs are going to take the tech. It's like software technology. Technology is one of the fastest growing industries with the highest amount of job growth and the highest like gap of workers for it. And that's all you should be thinking about right now. The AI taking over, it's not going to be overnight. Nothing like this is overnight, Like look at how long for the last 20 years cashiers have been steadily replaced. It wasn't like all the cashier jobs died overnight. There's still cashiers to this day. But what you've been seeing is every year as technology gets better, as things get improved, as it becomes more economical, things have slowly been getting phased out. And so when you're staying up to date, when you're sharpening your skills, what will happen is you'll slowly continue to improve, and you'll notice the market. You'll say, damn, man, JavaScript, they came out, and JavaScript's being replaced by Blazor. We're doing everything in C#. I better start learning that. So these are the things that you need to start thinking about, man. Not AI taking over the world. What you need to worry about is just getting to that point where you have a career and you stay on top of it. How much pure web development training should you do per day if you're working part-time and you're working a full-time computer science student who's not using WebStack for classes? I mean, that's sort of hard, right? So like, I mean, I don't know what your schedule is, but I tell people if they're trying to learn web development, they should spend about 3 to 4 hours a day. You're a full-time student. It's going to be rough for you, and working part-time, man. I remember that grind. Your first and foremost goal should be, this is what I would say. Make sure you're knocking your degree out. Just knock it out as fast as possible. Don't drop any classes. Don't lose anything. That should be your first and foremost. Second thing, figure out a blog, figure out a side project or something to maintain while you're doing that. A YouTube channel, whatever it could be, man. But always continue to grow, build that portfolio, and go from there. So if you're in school, that's the path you're going. Finish out that degree and go from there. What will become of the gap in tech? So here's the thing, man. I think I've said here's the thing like quite many times. But here's the thing. The gap in tech is because it's growing so rapidly. And I've said this many times before, is that there is not a shortage of developers. The problem is there is a shortage of good developers. And so that's why you can make 40,000. That's why you can make 150,000, because the bar is getting lowered, but so is the pay for those low end jobs. The good developers, they make good money. That's just how it works. So that's what will happen, is the good developers will keep doing good. The bad developers will sneak their way into jobs or not get jobs, but there will always be a gap. Unless that changes with what people are. I know more people are going in STEM, but we'll see. Do I get a lot of spam on LinkedIn? I get like, you guys won't believe how many friend invites I get a day on LinkedIn. You guys are adding me like crazy, man. Speaking of which, did anyone see that my I posted it, my podcast with Quincy? My podcast with Quincy went out today. So I was on the free code camp. Let me see if I can find the link here. It was actually in his email that he sent out. You know how Quincy sent out his email and me. Where's Quincy? Podcast number 45. I interviewed Dylan Israel, college dropout turned software engineer. Dylan is a prolific. Quincy likes that prolific word because I've heard him say it a couple different times or read it a couple different times. A prolific YouTuber and course creator. We talk about how he recently secured 4 different job offers. He's going to get a raise at his current job. 25-minute listen. If you guys want to listen to it, it's a pretty good one. It's short. It's about 25. I guess it's exactly 25, as I said. Yeah. So I'll throw it up in the chat here. I'll also throw it up in the description for some of y'all. They're going to watch this later. Put up there. Yeah, and that, I mean, Master of the Mash kind of hit it on the head there. It's like, who cares if more people go into STEM? I mean, I keep on interviewing college graduates that can't write a for loop on a whiteboard. You know what I mean? Like, they can't do FizzBuzz on a whiteboard in a technical interview. They can keep graduating. If only 1 in 100 is coming through, who cares if it's 2 in 100? You know, like 2 in 200. It's nothing that's going to change the game, I guess is what I'm trying to say. At the end of the day, colleges get you prepared for something, but it's not necessarily the workplace. So I don't know, man. It's rough out there. Yeah, I know STEM isn't just programming, but it um the parts that I care about. I don't know. You'd be silly not to go into like computer science or software engineering compared to the other disciplines at this time. God wins over sin? What are you talking about? What's what's that got to do about anything? Rocks the start. What's going on? Hey man, I've been replaying Kingdom Hearts, getting ready for Kingdom Hearts 3. And by getting ready for Kingdom Hearts 3, what I mean is just getting ready for them to unexplicably delay it. Rocks are greater than Regulus. Hey, let's not say things can't take back. Um, is college wasting time since you can learn everything on yourself online? I mean, it can be. Some people have really struggle and they need that help to get their foot in the door. Did I see the trailer with Aqua? Yeah, man. She ain't having it no more. C++ still used actively? I don't know. You'd have to look it up. I know C# is. How long do you think it's stay in Florida? Somewhere between 3 and 5 years now. I've bought a place. Good evening, Chris White. I stayed at my current job. I didn't get a new job. I took a counteroffer. I took the best of both worlds, man. I got a title change, a increase, and I didn't have to go to a new workplace, change a drive, move all that stuff. How do I educate myself with all this house stuff? What house stuff? Did you buy the house? I did. We're going through closing, so we're not in it yet. It's gonna be about 30 or 40 days, but life is good, man. Can you code React now? I mean, I've coded React before. I think I have 5 videos building like projects. Although React, so for me, it'd probably go Angular, Vue, React. That's what I would like. CSS seems complicated to you. CSS seems complicated to me too, man. So don't worry about it. Really, what you need is someone to sit down to you, explain to you a couple concepts. There's 3 or 4 main concepts you have to understand about CSS. You have to understand the level of elements. What I mean is inline versus block, and there's a couple other ones that fall into. You need someone to really just sit down with you and explain it to you. You have to understand the display property and how it works with others. You have to understand media queries and responsive design principles. What else? That's about it. But if you can understand that, CSS becomes much simpler. Feels good? Hey, man, you put in the time. Thank you. Location's good for me. It's about 30 minutes from Tampa and 30 minutes from my work. It's in a developing area, so it's a growing area. So like around Tampa, man, this is what's crazy is I looked for about 6-7 weeks at places. A lot of it was new construction. I must have gone to 30 different like new construction places with a total of like 20,000 plus houses being built. They are building houses like no tomorrow out here. People are moving out here like you would not believe. And it's usually good for home prices because people are relocating, even though they're building houses and stuff like that. So it's pretty phenomenal how many houses they're building. Is jQuery still worth learning? You should pick up jQuery over like a week or two, maybe a weekend even, and just move on to something that employers are actually going to have you use, like React, Vue, or Angular. Yeah, CSS is, that's sort of the hard part of it about too. CSS, and CSS has got simpler with CSS Grid and Flexbox and things like that. So I'm changing the music over here. So, do I know Ruby on Rails? No. I really have no interest in learning Rails because there's not really any jobs in it. A 416 square foot condo in Tampa for $55,000 cash last October. Hey, man. I respect that. 400 square feet is rough, but like the fact that you bought it outright, you don't have to worry about anything else. 173 month HOA. That's the dream right there, man. Like, does anyone know who you are at work? What does that even mean? You mean like, are they like, oh my God, this is a YouTuber? Oh, Mr. Famous. Like, look, man, I have 50,000 subscribers and I talk about software. No one's impressed. If anything, they think it's cool. They think it's great that I have passion, but they're not like, Mr. YouTuber, how you doing? You know what I mean? It ain't like that, eh? Yeah, internet sensation, right? I don't think anyone. I've ran into a few of you guys at meetups and stuff like that, and most of you are really nice. But I can't say anyone else was like start. There's been a couple guys who are like really excited. Hey man, you know you can see it on their face. That's cool, right? I'm glad. Hey man, you do free cocaine videos, right? It's like, yeah, man. He's like, God, they kill they those algorithms. Usually they complain about the project's algorithms. But your videos helped me out a ton, man. Thanks so much. You know. So but no, man, it's not like my coworkers are like selfie. Hey Dylan, real quick. I need this for the gram, baby. I need this for the gram. And they're just it's not like that, man. Should I just get people on Fiverr to help code it? No, you should always code your own app. Yeah, I gotta tell my friends. I know Dylan, the coding guy. That's exactly right, Master of the Mash. All the high-paying jobs are going to test you on algorithms, and those are the ones that you care about, high-paying. That doesn't mean that you still don't have to have the skills with frameworks and building projects. It just means to get into the jobs where you're going to be solving the algorithms to do the job with the frameworks and stuff like that. Because the algorithms prove that you can think like a developer, and that way, when they change frameworks, they know that you're up to the task. Do I like mechanical keyboards? I've never actually used one. The thing that I don't like about them, never having used them, is they seem very loud from what I can tell. Man, I haven't had a beard in a while. This is about as as good of a beard as I can get. Is the basics of JavaScript enough to handle algorithms? I mean, that's a strange question to ask. It's kind of a hard one to answer, in all honesty. Um, Understanding the fundamentals of any programming language should give you enough to solve a problem. You know, if you understand variable types, control flow, how to manipulate data, and breaking down problems, then yes, you can solve algorithms. But it's like, what are we saying? The basics of Java? You know, algorithms inherently aren't about knowing the most in-depth aspects of a language. It's about being able to problem solve. It's about being able to break a project down. And, you know, are you going to need to know if, else, for loops? Are you going to need to know math operators? Yes. But all that's the basics of any programming language. And that's why you should be able to solve algorithms almost in anything. I got my fridge too, by the way. The house doesn't come with the fridge. I have a washer and dryer I bought that's here, and it comes with a stove and like a microwave that's built into the cabinet sort of thing, and that's all nice and stainless steel, whatnot. So I gotta find a stainless steel fridge to go with it. What cities around you would you like to visit? I'd really like to go to Seattle. I was there for my Microsoft interview a while back, and it was beautiful. It was nice. I'd love to go visit there. So Seattle's on the list. I also want to go to Austin. I've never been to Texas other than when I drove through it to go to Florida. Austin's on the list. I want to go DC. So DC's going to be on. DC's probably going to be the first city that April and I go to, especially since we're out here. Might go down to Miami and maybe hit Orlando up. The average age of devs at my work. So somewhere between 30 and 35, I would say. If we took the average. It depends if we're counting like DevOps, it depends if we're counting quality assurance, or if we're just counting front end and back end. But if we just factor it all together, somewhere between, actually QA is older. So a lot of the guys in QA are 40 plus. So let's just say it's front end and back end, somewhere around, average it out. It's probably like 30 to 35, around there. You got hot in Dallas. Thank you, ball hair, for the love, man, and blue wood dog. You don't feel so old at 22. It always cracks me up when people feel old at 22. Can I still get a job at 22? It's like, bro, I didn't get my first job till I was 28, 29. So it's just one of those things, man, where, you know, and it's not, some people like QA, man. Some people transition from like tech support to QA. QA is a role that you can make a decent living in, and it's something that it's a, you know, it's a value part of any team, and it's not quite development, but it's, you know, not every QA guy wants to be a developer. It's understandable, man. Look, man, it's hard being a developer. It's hard staying up to date. It's hard continuing to grow, and like you, I'm sure you have to grow in QA's aspect, but it's not the same, without a doubt. What's QA? Quality assurance. So usually it's sort of QA's process in the software like deployment lifecycle is developers write it. There usually is like a code review or something like that. And then you have, once it goes to like tests, quality assurance will like smoke test it. They'll be like, all right, what did these lazy fuck developers forget to do? And it's up to them to break your code. Not necessarily break it, but they want to find bugs in it, some edge cases that maybe you didn't think of. If you're not testing responsiveness, if you're not testing multiple browser supports, they're there to make sure that you catch it. In theory, they shouldn't have a job because you should be writing code so their job is unneeded. But that's not a realistic world that we live in. Hey, you're welcome, Andrew, man. Keep it up. Keep up the good work, man. I know. Here's the thing, man. It's all a grind. But it all pays off if you just stick with it. Consistency is your greatest ally. So if you're able to be consistent and just continuing to learn, and I said this in the podcast with Quincy, is that I think the greatest success, the most successful people are the ones who put 5 to 10 hours a week towards themselves, because most people never work for themselves in any aspect. They put their 40 hours in and then they're done. So, or 40 hours, yeah, put their 40 hours in and then they're done. If you can work 50 to 55 with 10 to 15 hours a week towards yourself, you're going to be killing it in any field that you're in. So, is working remote common? Yes. Although a lot of people have this strange idea that someone's going to hire them remote with no coding experience. That's sort of unrealistic. The realistic situation is that you will get hot. Most remote positions are for those who have experience. Consistency, man. Consistency. I harp about this all. That's why I did that video a while back about these bullshit fucks who learned to. I learned to code in 30 days. No, you didn't, dude. And stop telling people that, because you're setting unrealistic expectations. You may have learned something in 30 days, but you didn't learn enough to change your life. And I'm here to hopefully motivate you guys to change your life, right? I don't want you to make $15 an hour. I want you to make $50 an hour plus. All right. How do you get some water, guys? Oh, man. What do you think about people who say coding is easy? I think they probably use a lot of third-party libraries, plugins, and they're probably not as good as they think they are. That's what I think. Because anyone who's worth a damn won't say that coding is easy. They will instead say that it gets easier, but it's things aren't hard anymore. They're complex. Okay. So it's not a matter of things being hard. It's a matter of things being complex or unknown, larger in scope. I don't know. Launch stream. What's going on, Ricky? I crept in Ricky's stream the other day. If you guys aren't a subscriber of Ricky's content, I like Ricky's content as well, and I highly recommend you go over and sub to his channel at Ricky Garcia. What oils should I use and why? Sometimes I'll just usually pick out a couple that are on sale at like Ross, but I use 100% essential oils. Not that not that like grapeseed oil blend shit. That's the cheap shit. Don't get that. That's the stuff that's not. Nah. So I like two main ones: lavender, and that's the sort of calming, relaxing one. That's the one I have like going on right now. And then there's like a spearmint slash peppermint, and depending on which one you get, and those are a little bit more of a like you want to wake up, keep you alert. So yeah, just keep getting better, Andrew. Man. Yeah, my butt. Hopefully my lender gets back to me soon. Man, I need to tell him like, look, man, I'm an old man. I go bed at 8. It's almost 10. I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm just not even gonna read it. I was like, click here to sign, click here to sign, click here to sign. Oh man. No, I'm good. One of the good things that worked out with this is my lender is actually a good friend of mine who I've known for about 15 years or so. We went to high school together, and we've been boys for quite some time, and not like acquaintances. Like we're pretty close. And so uh, it's been nice that he's going to be my lender, and that he'll be able to walk me through it. Someone I can trust and work with, especially for the first time. It's very nice. Awesome interview on Free Code Camp. Thanks, man. I'm glad you liked it. Do I use Jira? Not currently, but I have in the past. Yeah, I like Jira quite a bit. All right, I think I got to stand for a minute or I'll fall asleep. Ugh. What do you think about the Lambda Code School? Which one's that again? Yo, Monster Class, you're on this Wix hype today, man. Let me tell you. Let me see. Lambda Code School. I mean, what does it cost? Damn, man, I'm looking at this right now. At the payment option, 17% of your income is quite a bit. Here, I'm gonna do some calculations, right? So it's zero. So all right. So Lambda Code School is a hey, you pay us later, and we'll train you first. So like, let me put it. Let's say you're just at the top of the spectrum, so you can pay 20K up front and no ink. So their rate is 20,000 if you want to pay up front, or you could do 0 to 17% of your income for 2 years. So let's just say it's 17% because it's probably going to be higher than lower. So I just completed my second year of development, so I'll use my first year. All right, so that's. I'm gonna tell you exactly what it would have cost me to go to that boot camp after my second year, combining what my salary was. it would have cost me, and mind you, it would have cost me $25,000 just at the start of my career for the first 2 years if I hit the 17% mark. Yeah. So, and it's probably closer to 30 to be honest. Once you add in because once you add in the bonuses, once you add in and 20K for a boot camp's a lot. Thoughts on being mobile app developers? Start building them. That's really it, man. Just like anything else. So, but also, so that's 17K. I'm in a lower, even though I just got a 40% raise. So like those numbers are not with the 40% raise. So let's say you're working in SF where you're making like 120, 100K. Let's say you're making 100K in SF your first job in New York. That's like 35 grand you paid for that boot camp. And it's 30 weeks long. Like, are you going to come out very well trained? Probably. 30-week boot camp. But Jesus, man. $35,000? I don't know. I mean, 20,000 up front to 35,000. Whew. I mean, you can go to Dev Mountain, provide housing, and it's like $9,000, $10,000. It's quite literally half the price. And they let you, and you don't have to pay rent for 3 months. I don't know. It's a honey trap, basically. Will it work? Yeah, it's a boot camp, man. Boot camps work if you put the time and effort and energy into them. They have a max cap of 35,000. That's very nice of them to have a max cap of 35,000. So, yeah. I don't know, man. It's crazy. My divorce at a higher cap. Hey, man. You know what they say about divorce? It's so expensive because it's worth it. You know what I mean? But yeah, so if you're trying to get into mobile, it's just like anything else. You're going to want to do a little bit of research about what tools and languages and frameworks are being used, if it's Android or iOS, whatever it may be. And then you're going to want to build some apps, right? You're going to want to build that portfolio, get something on the market, go through that process and learn and just continue doing it. That's really it at the end of the day. Hey, going back to tattooing at the moment. Hey, man, you got to pay the bills. But remember that consistency is going to be what carries you through, man. Yeah. So most workplaces you're going to work at are going to be an agile shop of some sort. You might do Kanban, you might do Scrum, but you're definitely going to be doing some form of agile, more or less. That's just sort of how software works nowadays. Um, I currently do Scrum. I happen to like it for the most part. I think Kanban is probably my favorite, and just because I think I think it's the one that goes best with the flow of development. But sort of what you really need to expect from Agile is you're going to do the ceremonies, you're going to do stand-ups, you're going to be doing the retros, you're going to be doing the grooming, the PBRs. You're going to be doing the retrospectives. I think I already said that. The sprint plannings, those things, the standards. And then you're also going to be doing so that those are like pretty standard of any agile team. And it's I don't know. So the thing about agile is I've never really had any issue with developers with agile. It's usually the business has a hard time adhering to methodologies. But like anything, it takes time to change. Do you really need doc type HTML in your index in HTML? I don't. I think doc the browsers now just assume you want HTML5. I don't think you need the doc type tag anymore. Are the retros productive? They can be. So I focus on the things that I can control in life, and so in the retros, I try to focus on things that I can control on the team, or I can contribute to the team, and go from there. And the thing is that if your business analyst isn't attending, then your business analyst doesn't have a vote about what gets put into the next thing, or how we're going to change the way our team runs, the improvements we're going to make. So that's how I would look at it. I need to close my eyes, man. I am getting sleepy. How long have we been going, man? God, it's only been an hour. I need to be up for another hour and a half. Should I keep doing the live stream? Should I go? Should I stay or should I go? Is my team in constant conflict with the business over requirements and other shit? I don't really want to talk too much about my team, right? My workplace wouldn't probably appreciate me talking explicitly about our inner workings. What I will say is that even in a great work environment, you have to understand that developers are a resource, and a business analyst's job is to clearly communicate requirements, and that's a hard job, and it's one that is sort of in a unique wheelhouse where it's not really a technical skill, and so technical people don't do it, but it should be. A technical person should do it, and so it suffers from that, right? But if you're good enough to be a developer, you're a developer. You're not a business analyst at times. But back to my main point is that the product owner, the BA, the business, they want to get as much out of you as they can, because you're a resource, and you're an expensive one at that. Minus the executives, and for the most part, you're probably going to be the highest paid, or one of the highest paid occupations at that company. So, you're going to have people in human resources, you're going to have people in accounting, you're going to have IT. And IT is going to be specifically the developers. not counting like, upper management, all that sort of stuff, and like database. I'm talking about like database technicians as well, and like DBAs and stuff like that. I consider that all development. It's just different aspects. You 100% will be the most well paid and because of that, most expensive asset the company has on the books. And so there's going to be this constant give and pull. And that's also why it's so important. If you saw my video I did about commitments, it's so important on how to act professionally and how to be a professional so that you can handle those situations appropriately. Because, at the end of the day, you can think of yourself as $100,000 tool, and they're going to try to run that tool as much as they can to get as much work out of you as they can. And you need to be able to handle that. And so the whole aspect of constant conflict with business requirements is I wouldn't say the word is conflict. What I would say is that it's almost a negotiation where there is not a winner and a loser. There are two parties trying to come to an understanding of what is feasible, what's not, and how we can get better so that we can both be happier at all times. And it's an ongoing thing. So that would be what I would say when it comes to sort of the business over requirements and all that, I guess, in a general sense. Now, this may be something that's actually been changing. I do know when I saw some job ads for BAs when I was looking for April, and I thought that might be a good direction for her to go. It's one of those items where there are companies willing to pay for technical people who are business analysts, and those BAs can make bank. Like they can make bank. They can make developer money because they want a developer to do that job, and it's just one of those things. But I mean, U.S. salaries in tech seem so much more than the U.K. It's all variable, right? So like, I don't know what the average salary is. Let's see here. If I were to do front end engineer UK, so it's around 45 to 50 euros. What's 45 to 50 euros? That pounds or euros? I don't even know. We'll just say 45. Okay, London. We'll take London. London is 41,000, more give or take. 41,000. $40,600 is 52,500. All right, so average front end engineer salary, United States. So 52 to 92. I guess there is a big bump. So why is that? Well, cost of living is more expensive for the most part, and also I mean, you're talking about the major tech companies. There's more jobs here in general, but that seems like a big discrepancy. It's like making 50K in New York. Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. Sorry. House is a big deal. Thank you, Kevin. Yeah, man, we should be. We're still going through the closing process. I'm staying up a little late to handle some paperwork. My lender's on the West Coast, so I'm just trying to stay up, man. I'm an old tired man nowadays, man. I'm gonna go into work and be a zombie tomorrow. No, I'll probably just sleep in, but it's gonna suck. Any podcasts you recommend listening to? I just guested on one, the Free Code Camp podcast. Quincy is a great. It's great to talk to. I would imagine he's now done 45, or there's now 45 Free Code Camp podcasts. So I'm the 45th, like the president. Is that right? So or are we 46th? I don't know. This is how much I'm up to date. I think Obama was 45th, right? No, it's Trump. My dude DT. My dude DT and I. But yeah, I don't really listen to podcasts. I could recommend my my coworkers. He has a podcast. It's called the Six Figure Dev. I'd recommend that one. I actually just listened to one of their first podcasts, and that was kind of good. I enjoyed it. Eric was on there. Program with Eric, I should say. Do I want kids someday? Damn, man, we're getting off topic here. Maybe. Yeah, probably. Well, I'm paid sort of as a senior dev in the Tampa market, so it's to be expected, Pasky. We have a demo day at our bootcamp next week. Any advice? Yes. One, showcase. So is it, first off, I'm making the assumption that it's like a full stack web dev. Showcase mobile and desktop. And two, talk to how you designed it, what principles you use. Maybe you used the solid principles. Maybe you used REST principles. Talk about how you wrote testing for it as well. Talk about the high level items and not just the project itself. You know, I'll give you a basic example of how I would answer this question if I was giving a presentation to somebody. You know, thank you for being here. You know, today's project is a memo machine. We built it using REST standards in the backend using C#.NET and using a relational SQL database. And we took a test-driven development approach to how we did the front-end logic as well as the back-end logic. The front-end logic is in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, TypeScript. We did unit tests in Jasmine and Karma, and it all compiled in Webpack. You can see here, as I'm doing it, that is fully responsive. We use some of the latest technologies such as Flex, Box, and CSS Grid, and you know, blah 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 blah. Talk about authentication. Get into the weeds a little bit, as well as demoing the application, obviously. But be prepared to what you're going to be talking about. Do you have stand a better chance of getting hired as dev if you kick ass at algorithms or have an okay portfolio instead of the other way around? You have a better chance because you have a better chance with the algorithms because that'll be what you get tested on. That will be what helps you get the job. Are you gonna do another one of those yearly surveys on devs? I do whenever I get like something from the company. Not from like Hack Reactor or one of those sites. All right, guys. So I'm getting a little sleepy. I'm gonna wrap it up now. I appreciate it all. Thank you again. Someone donated $2 earlier. It's appreciated. I hope you all have a good night, a good weekend. I'll leave you with this. Work hard and you will be rewarded. Work hard every day and you'll be rewarded more than you could ever imagine. So take a little bits of words of wisdom. Sounds like it almost came out of fortune cookie. Fortune cookie Dolan. I'll see you guys later. Bye.